Hi guys, so here we are. It's a beautiful sunny morning on my farm in North Kildare, and we are looking for the first signs of spring. One of my favourite flowers that come out early in spring is the primrose. I think most people are familiar with primroses, and here we have an absolutely beautiful colony of primroses. These flowers are really important early in spring because they are a source of nectar for bees and moths and other insects. So you can imagine they're really hungry, and they find this beautiful bunch of primroses here, they're going to be in heaven. In the olden days, in ancient Ireland, the old Celtic people had a saying that the primrose was the key to heaven. And if you can imagine, when they didn't have the stimulus of TV and the internet like we have, the winter would have been very long, very dark and very grey. So the first colour they saw would have been such a relief after the long months of winter. Also, the myth goes that if you eat the petal of a primrose, you will see a fairy. So what we're going to do now, pick one of these little guys here. We're going to eat it. Yeah, it's alright. And we're going to go for a walk across the farm to the badger setts and see what they're up to. And on the way, we're going to have a look for a few fairies. Let's go. Hi guys, so here we are. We're in the field on the farm called the Badger Burrows, and that's because this is where the badgers live. And what I've noticed is a line of hay coming across the field. So let's just follow the line and see where it leads. See, it's right down here in the ground. It's a trail of hay, and yeah, it's leading right in, as you can see, right across here, and it's leading right into the main badger set. So what we have here is the badgers probably woke up a few weeks ago from their winter hibernation. And what they do is they clean out all this old dirty earth that they've been sleeping in over the winter, and they drag in all this hay and moss and grass. And there's a number of chambers down there, and there's one particular chamber where they give birth to the cubs. And this is where they're dragging all this moss and grass and hay to create a really beautiful nest in which the cubs are born. So it's a family effort. Get all this in here, and the cubs will probably appear in a few weeks' time into the big bad world. But they have a great start in a beautiful nest in the birthing chamber right down here below our feet. Okay, so this is a part of the farm that we call the glen. What we've done here is we fenced the cattle and the sheep out for a number of years now, and we're just letting whatever wants to grow. So you've got a great canopy of trees starting up. We've got beech, we've got ash, elder, sycamore, a few oak in here as well. And then if you come and you look at the floor, you see what's happening for the next generation. So right down here we've got a little sycamore coming through, we've got a nice covering of ivy, and now one of my favourites that you see early in spring is ferns. And you see them just starting to unroll. And if they get the right conditions, which would be kind of damp, mild conditions, they'll unfurl about 2 or 3 centimetres each day, and you get a beautiful fern like we see here beside her. Okay, so here we are, we're at the other end of the glen, and this is where we find the bluebell. I don't think anybody in Ireland doesn't like to see a bluebell on the forest floor. I'm really happy that they're starting to colonise here. So what's going to happen now is every year when we come back here in spring, there's going to be more and more bluebells as they spread out to cover the whole area. So we've got bluebells coming, we've got orchids coming, again we've got a great covering of ivy. And where you have this forest litter on the ground, you'll have insects, and obviously where you have insects, you'll have lots of birds. So it's a whole ecosystem starting to appear here. And last year I spotted a tree creeper nesting in one of the boxes that we put on the side of the tree. So it's a really great oasis to come down here forget about what's going on in life and just take in the sounds, the smells and the sights, and just feel the rhythm of nature, because it keeps on going every year, and that's what I love about this area. So here we are back in the farmyard, standing outside one of the old stables, and you might be thinking, what has this got to do with one of the first signs of spring? But let's have a look inside and see what we can find. So if you look up here, just above the light, what we have is a swallow's nest made out of some beautiful moss and sticks and grass and earth. And what happens here is the same swallows fly back to this nest all the way from South Africa each year. So that's a journey of over 10,000 kilometers. And those swallows only weigh 20 grams, which is the weight of 3 €1 coins. So for me, swallows are an absolutely spectacular bird. And when I see them coming back, usually around the first week in April, that's for me is one of the happiest moments of the year.